Much better. Lighting's not too bad. Lighting's not too bad. We are at 11 o'clock. Yeah, okay. Hello, hello, hello. Just going to grab my coffee. Archie, is that fan noise coming through on the speaker? The red poppy, yeah. Remembrance Day. Okay, I'm glad. It's sometimes it makes noise, sometimes it doesn't. I'm worried about the battery. If I unplug the cord, the fan will automatically turn off because it draws power. So if it gets out of hand, I'll just sometimes it's really loud, so it annoys the piss out of me. I took the whole laptop apart, blew it out, took the fan apart and put it back in. I think it's in the bearing, so there's nothing really I can do unless I replace the fan completely. Manufactured obsolescence, make the fan drive you crazy, so you throw the laptop in the garbage. And this laptop is amazing. My dad bought it for me a while back, and it's really powerful. It's a gamer laptop, so it's got good editing capabilities and such for video. But for whatever reason, the fan, I guess, got a little bit of dirt in it. It's obviously not a German engineered fan. Rest in peace, Terry Garr. I was going to put a picture of Roberta Lincoln up, and I just couldn't find one on my laptop. I thought I had a picture of Terry Garr, Roberta Lincoln from Star Trek, when she played in that episode Assignment Earth with Gary Seven. I can't remember the name of the guy, Robert Langsing or something. Where they go back in time and they stop the nuclear bomb from going off. A great episode. Supposedly was going to be it was going to branch off, and there was going to be a Gary Lansing. I think it's Gary Lansing, Robert Lansing. Anyway, I can't remember. With her, and they were going to fix things. Anyway, it would have been. I think it would have been a good show if they'd had good writers. Depending. But rest in peace, Terry Garr. I think she was 79 when she passed away. Yeah, Tootsie. Yeah, that's the Dustin Hoffman one, right? Tootsie, where she plays where he plays she. What's the famous line from Tootsie? Don't go in too close on her. Pull back a bit, and it's like, I don't know. It's like the guy said something like, "Yeah, we'll have to pull back to like Pennsylvania," or I don't know. I can't remember. Dustin Hoffman playing a girl. Was it Dustin Hoffman playing a girl? Like, I've seen the movie. Yeah. Cleveland. Are you talking about the movie, or are you talking about something else? Cleveland. Something happened in Cleveland. Okay. Yeah. It's like some actors have these faces. I think they used to have a joke about Barbara Hershey. I can't remember, and if you want to fit her smiling, you got to pull the camera back to the next building. I don't know. I don't know. Tootsie was a good movie. It was a lot of work in getting Dustin Hoffman to look like a woman. good movie, a good up there with during all the heyday of fun movies. uh, 9 to 5 with Dolly Parton and Lily Tomlin and Jane Fonda. That was a fucking hilarious movie. That one with Dabney Coleman as the asshole boss. That was too funny in my opinion. Good writing back in the day. Today, I don't know what you'd call it. I think it's shit, but that's just my opinion. I've tried to watch some of the newer movies, and to me, it's so obvious when they inject the garbage, the wokeism in that. Yeah, there's some great movies. Yeah, the Poppy. I don't know how you guys are for the Poppy down in America. Like if Remembrance Day is it's a really big deal here. Dabney Coleman in War Games was really good. I loved him in almost everything that he did because he played that perfect asshole. If that's a you call it Veterans Day, we call it Remembrance Day here. 11 11 11 11 11 11 11 11. Yeah. Unfortunately, in my opinion, and this is only my opinion about Veterans Day, it's been co-opted. It's been morphed into something that it is not. Now it's a rah rah cheer cheer, where it's supposed to be a very somber day. We used to call it, I think, Armistice Day in Canada, and it was brought about by the women who were like, you men have to stop killing each other because what you're doing is you're killing our brothers, our husbands, our fathers. And it was to bring about a remembrance. And this is my loose remembering of the history of Remembrance Day, because it goes back to World War I, if I'm not mistaken, after the Great War. Yeah, to remember those we lost, but it's a cheer, like they use it as a recruiting thing now in Canada. Anyway, I find it just been like, anyway, that's just my opinion, right? I'm yeah, 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 yeah. But here, Halloween's more important right now, but and I only talk about certain, like some people get crazy for Halloween, right? But like I've not been to war. I've not like been in a conflict where I've been in conflict zones, but I've never been in a conflict myself. I was more of a peacetime soldier, and I've worn a blue hat. And but I have friends, because I was in the Navy, so it's a bit different, right? But I have friends that when I became a Navy diver, it's called a robber trade. It steals, because you can't become a Navy diver just willy nilly. You show up at the recruiting center. I want to be a Navy diver. It gets its people from inside the military who have already been trained in something else, and you have proved your worth so that you can cross over. And we had guys from the Army, the air, not many Air Force, mostly Army, guys who were like Rangers and such like that. And they had, like, I had friends that were in Bosnia. I had friends that had been in where Canadians did die. And I have friends who have actually lost friends due to combat. And for them, like, I have one friend that I don't even see him on Remembrance Day. Like, when we used to hang out and we were buddies, I said, what you doing for November? He says, oh, I'm not going downtown for that. He says, I held my buddy while he died. So, yeah, that, no, thank you. So he takes it on a level that is just, you know, I can feel just welling up when I remember the reaction that I got from him. So yeah, it's not, anyway, it's not a furniture sale. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, did you read the article? What I think I wrote it down here. Uh, so there was a party, a Halloween party like they have, and they found a needle in a Twizzler. And I'm just like, really? I don't even know what to make of that. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I can't. I can't. My body can't. My mind just says, yeah, okay, that's a bullshit story. Vague pictures, no real. It was just this happened over there, lying behind a dumpster. Okay, prove it. It goes back to the fucking razor blade and apples thing which did happen on isolated, and now we've got the fear porn where there are a whole bunch of Halloween candies were laced with cannabis up here in Canada because we have we've got the stores now where you can just go buy your marijuana and your gummies, but these are like in like candy packages, and I'm like, okay, really? Yeah, no, not in my day. Mom never went. Did mom ever really go through our bag? You know, I'm trying to remember when that changed over. Like when I was a kid. I don't know. I don't know if it was different for you, Archie, but when I was a kid, because we were getting real food. None of us ever got poisoned. I don't know anybody that I knew in all of the days, and I trick or treated up until my parents. Okay, little, maybe little itty bitty little, because we'd have eaten like chunks of shit probably, but when I turned 16, my parents forbid me. They said, if you're not old enough to drive a car, you're too old for Halloween. And that was it for Halloween. We weren't allowed to go out. If my parents, I mean, we did anyway, of course, we pull our jean jacket over our head and go, I'm the headless jean jacket wearer guy, and put your hand out, no bag or nothing. But by then parents are going, you're too old, get out of here. But like, I know in that time span, after we got back to Canada from like when I was 12, yeah, 12 to like those 4 years, nobody I knew, nobody got poisoned. Yeah, popcorn balls, candy apples, Rice Krispie squares. Some of us did, like the rich people gave out the corporate, like sometimes you get full fucking chocolate bars, for Canada, Crispy Crunch or, Jersey Milk or whatever, what have you. But most of the time it was homemade cupcakes, and such like that. And then now, can you imagine going up to somebody's house and they give you a Rice Krispie square wrapped in a saran wrap, and the what would happen afterwards, what would ensue most likely? I can't even, but it really changed. And I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, the Jersey Milk from Nielsen. I would stuff a whole one in my mouth and then let it get the melty goo goo, and then chocolate drooling out of your mouth. My big thing was we had cherry blossoms up here, cherry blossom, and then the Macintosh toffee bought, like it was that big, and it was just straight toffee. And you'd have to let it get cold so you could break it, but if you didn't, you were like losing teeth or cavities. Jersey Milks, because don't forget, when I was a kid, we didn't have your stuff, eh? We didn't have Hubba Bubba bubble gum or the Bubblicious or anything like that. Anything, all we had was our stuff, a Canadian, like before the crossover, if you will. Sometime back in the 80s, I think it happened. There was a crossover, because I can remember you couldn't even get a fucking skateboard in Canada. I can remember when my parents went to Plattsburgh one weekend and came back and surprised my brother and I with a off the shelf, bought at I don't know what your big stores were back in the day. I don't remember what they were called. J.C. Penney, I don't know, a skateboard, and we were like, you know, just went batshit crazy because we were the first kids on our block with skateboards, you know, and then mom would bring back like maybe a thing of Bubblicious, and we would sell like singles. Like you'd open the Bubblicious or the Hubba Bubba, and you know, whatever flavor, it was just plain bubblegum flavor, and you'd just be like, because all we had was the Bazooka Joe, you know, the paper wrapper, and you had a little cartoon, and you know, the Thrills soap gum that I love so much still today. If you remember the purple Thrills gum, like really cheap, tasted like a bar of soap, but I loved it. You couldn't blow bubbles with it or nothing. And Bazooka Joe, after you chewed it for about 6 minutes, it became a piece of red cardboard. Macintosh. Yeah, wonderful. Good memories. And then it went to shit. So that's just my opinion. Sorry, you know, it's just become too much now. You know, I think we should have been unique. I think we should have kept our stubbies, you know, kept our beer the way it was. And you know, if you take Coors beer across the Mason-Dixon line, it's bootlegging or whatever. Remember the Smokey and the Bandit? Remember that? Smokey and the Bandit getting arrested if you took Coors beer. Was it Coors? Across the, you know, that's bootlegging, son. East of Texas. Fuck. Now it's like, you know, you can get Coors beer in Saudi Arabia probably, you know. I'm of the opinion that the changes we made were not for good. It was all for money and corporation and bullshit. And now there's too much, too everywhere, too much. We were drunk on our own belly button lint, and now it's just gone to hell in a handbasket. I can't read my own fucking writing. It's terrible. That's terrible. I've got one thing here, and I'm like, what the hell is that? But yeah, Terry Garr, rest in peace. 79, the 79 Trans Am. I'll tell you, Sally Field's ass in those, like when you saw her in Hooper, the movie Hooper, and Smokey and the Bandit, when she goes over and bends over right in the camera in the Trans Am when she's and I'm like, oh, gee, I wonder why you did that, you know. Or she's got the little hot pants on in Hooper, and she basically crawls up on Bert and, you know, and does her leg wrap around because she's a little thing, you know. Yeah, Hollywood knew what they were doing, you know. Great movies. I love Hooper. I watch it regularly for a hoot with Jan Michael and Sally Field, and just a great slapstick. Terry Bradshaw's in it. You know, the late what's his name, Tessier. You know, bald-headed guy. You know, just a great slapstick, mindless movie to watch. Smokey and the Bandit, the late Jerry Reed, you know, they're all dead now. I think everybody, like some of the movies we watched, Archie, in our day, you know, guys who were ever here on the channel, all three of you and my mother. JC, if you're here, chime in. You said you'd be here. You'd say your resident AI bot would be here. Ha ha ha. But yeah, we had great movies back then, you know. But yeah, most of them are dead now. Eh? If you go through movies that we watched when we were kids, like gone. Then you just you to right click and it's was an actor. I knew you'd be here. Good to see you guys. Yeah, was an actor. You know, so. Okay, so I've been rambling for 20 minutes saying nothing. Sorry about that. Sometimes it just turns into that. Wife's getting better. Bad. Something went around town here this last flu, whatever. Some people got real sick. I did not, but some people got pretty sick. We had a very known person in town have a coronary the other day and passed away. That was very sad. I wasn't on that call. Very sad though. But yeah, something went through town and it was hard and heavy. My wife was in bed for 2 days, you know, sick as a dog, like real sick. I had like maybe a sinus headache, but I get those because of my diving career. but something went through town, so we don't know. So everybody's back to normal-ish, but it's pretty quiet. So the gym was pretty empty. I'll tell you that for nothing. So yeah, so what? Trump Rogan. Let's talk about the Trump Rogan. Yeah, she was sick. I mean, real sick. I was pampering her and cooking for her, and just going getting the pile of snot rags out of the bedroom. Because it was unholy. It was bad, but not for this old dog. So this old dog did not get well. I felt it in my sinus. I felt a little bit of a throat, but that was it. Chewed my OSHA root. I still went to the gym. I still went to firefighting. I was still doing my shit, but something was going around. But anyway, for the grace of God, go I. That's all we're going to say about that. Trump Rogan. Did you guys watch it? I watched the whole thing. I had to put it on 1.25 because it was damn long. Yeah, I didn't have any problem finding it, but I think what happened is once my computer, I typed it in, and then it went to one of my cookie settings. It just was always there for me. I saw a lot of people saying, showing clips of Google, and I believe that to be true, because I know that because I have a clean computer that has nothing, none of my banking, none of my YouTube, none of my Facebook, none of anything at all. It's just a thing that I go on and I search, because I always check to see if I get out, and I do not get anywhere. My comments do not exist in the real YouTube world. Like if I go to I'll go and troll Neil Oliver's site. Pardon my French, I shouldn't do that. I know I won't troll his site. Pardon me. I will make an off-color comment. Nothing. And then I'll go to check if it's there with my clean computer, and it just does not exist. So yeah. I watched the whole thing. So it's very possible that, well, in my opinion, like I've always said, there's two YouTubes. There's two Facebooks. There's one that if you're in that group, oh yeah, that's where you go. And if you're the accepted, if you're in the accepted class, then you're yeah, we'll promote that. Hey, no problem. I'm okay with that. You guys can come out, we can talk back and forth, and that's great. You guys can find me because you've got me in your machine. Yeah. Oh, and if I can take anything away, because in my opinion, I watched the whole video, right? It was just a chat amongst, like, if like we're chatting here, it wasn't really anything substantial or substantive. There was nothing, I did get a kick out of the alien stuff at the end, but like that was about 1% of the conversation. It was basically just a back and forth, yeah, and if it had been anybody else, they'd have been smoking joints or drinking like Joe does on his show. Sometimes they get loaded, or they smoke joints, or they smoke cigars, or whatever, And that's the thing, like they're just drawing more attention to the talk. Like it was like, I don't think it swayed any people on the fence, and if I've learned anything, boy, oh boy, there's a lot of people out there that really despise Trump for no reason whatsoever, just because. Now, I don't have a horse in the race. He's not going to be my president. I'm a Canadian. Okay, it might affect us in a way, but it's not going to make my pension go up or down if Trump gets elected. I really don't know, and I can speculate all I want on whether it's going to be good for the planet, or because I called up Kim Jong Un and I said, "Hey, now Kim, or hey, Vladimir." Oh yeah, like and then I listened to the alternative media hate people that I just don't get it. Like, and they're like, oh, they're trying to spin the Trump derangement syndrome on that it's the ones that support Trump that have the derangement, that he's a good person. Like, okay. Oh, absolutely, JC. And that is, that's what I say to my buddy. Like, we talk about it. And I said, look, man, and this is just my take, okay? Now, you guys can rail on me for this, but the 20 or 30% of the people that are that have the TDS bad, that is all the mainstream media is doing, is making sure that those people are solidified, because when I listen to them, they're absolutely deluded. But I'm of the opinion that if anything goes awry on November 5th going forward, from whenever they decide to tally the votes, whatever that means, that 20 to 30% will be used to, and God help us, they will be emboldened like you have no ideas if and when Harris wins the selection. Now, from what I see, by all rights, the T-Man should take it in a landslide. And I mean, like, I'm talking landslide. That's my opinion. But the way the CTV, CBC, CNN, CBC, Global News, all of the mainstream, uh, 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 whatever you want to call them, parroting media that just roll the same headline over and over, and Putin's Hitler, Trump's Hitler, whatever, you know what I'm talking about, are only appealing to the 20 or 30% that will be the ones that they use, and that's all they care about. They're not trying to win anybody over the 70% that people are actually on board. Yes, exactly. She's abjectly, like, listen, I like I said, I don't have a horse in the race. I've listened to both of them talk. I've listened to them like interact with humans, with if on the YouTubes and the interwebs and everything like that, because they're actually talking. Like, I watched the Anderson Cooper with her, and I was like, I was mortified, but it's twisted, and the 20 to 30% are gone. They're gone. They're gone. They're gone in their brain. God, I don't know what's going to come of November 5th. I pray for the whole world, because it's just, it seems to be really, it's a bigger deal than I even thought that it could be. We just had our selection up here for the provincial government. Our socialists won. It was neck and neck between whether or not they were going to get a majority. And there was the Conservative Party. The Liberals are gone. It's socialist or conservative up here. And guess what? After they've tallied all and recounted, the socialists have a majority government. So they can do policy now without worrying about anything. But when it was when it was on the fence, they were like saying that the Greens were going to hold the power, just like the NDP are holding the power for our Liberals right here. And wow, my province here in British Columbia, I don't know, maybe it's time to move. This is a provincial thing. Peter Poilievre is a conservative. That's federal. That's Ottawa stuff. What we just had a provincial election to decide our governor, if you will, if that's could be a comparison. Yeah. Peter Poilievre is the conservative leader. We got Jughead for the socialists, and we've got the turd for the woke crowd. That's how I call them. Yeah, neither do I. I don't get our system either. I do enjoy your system in a sense, because your states have a lot of power. Like, you're sheriff of mashed potatoes. Like, you have sheriffs. We're a gun. our sheriffs up here are basically bail bondsmen, and like we'll have a car that says sheriff, and basically all he is a paper server. It's not even the same word. It may be like the sheriff of Nottingham. Like we're based on the British system. You guys have if I'm not mistaken, you have a republic, a constitutional republic. Yes, Jughead is the fella that wears the whatever you call it, a turban or whatever. I think the Canadian prepper is in either northern British Columbia or northern Alberta. I couldn't tell you. He's off in the bush somewhere. I'm in some village here where I've got neighbors and such. I don't think he's got neighbors, as it were, where I can do over the fence and talk to my neighbor, who's really cool, thank God. And I've got the schoolyard. I've only got one neighbor. Yay! The rest is the schoolyard property. So I only have one neighbor, which is wonderful. And he's a great guy. He's an older fella. He used to be the school bus driver or something. Like really, he just completely doesn't get excited about anything. We don't talk about anything except for our gardens and how's your marijuana growing or whatever like that. That's about all we talk about. So really good guy. Yeah, I think the Canadian prepper's in near northern British Columbia, northern Alberta, probably Alberta. I couldn't see him being in British Columbia. The rules here are just falling apart. The province is falling apart. Most of the people are vacating and going to Alberta. My son left. Him and his girlfriend went to Grand Prairie, and they're in Alberta now, doing well in Alberta. Because that's where you make the money. That's where the houses are cheaper. I mean, the housing has gone through the ceiling. It's very, very. They have Danielle Smith in Alberta. Danielle Smith is the governor, if you will. She's the provincial, the premier. We have the prime minister, who's in charge of the country, and then we have premiers who are in charge of their provinces. Just like you guys have the president, and then governors who are in charge of the states are premiers, and she's premier of the Alberta government, and she is a conservative. She's a little. I asked my son how it is, and she's fairly conservative. Doesn't believe in wokeism. But there again, she's beholden. Like we're a different system, right? She's beholden to the feds. Yeah, Democratic Republic. Yeah, not a Democratic Republic. Did I say constitutional republic? Yeah. I pledge allegiance to the flag and to the republic for which it stands. Is that how it begins? To the republic. Yeah. Okay. Different system completely. Yeah, when you guys went and beat the Brits back, yeah, you beat them back. You said, you know what? To your system. And you went a completely different, because you were, for whatever reason, we were British all the way up until when Pierre Elliott Trudeau, I could be wrong in my history. I know your history better than my own, but like we were British in World War II. We fought for the Brits. We were in the war long before you guys were in the war in World War II. Like we started right away. We were called up because we were a colony still, and we were, cannon fodder. So many Canadians died in World War II. It was unbelievable, So anyway, so the Rogan thing. What I've noticed here now about that now is you've got the kooks on The View, the kooks in the bobbleheads that, and it's not even a debate. They'll just go on like me, just sitting here talking about, oh, you're fat, blah, 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 blah. And that's all it is right now. So the kooks are just coming out, like I think Joy Behar or whatever she is, what creature that is, bobblehead, along with the other bobblehead Whoopi Goldstein. haha, funny name, uh, are like, we want a list of the people that were at the the Madison Square Garden Nuremberg circle jerk, as they call it, or those are my words, of course, but I'm like, wow, you people are, and this is what scares me. And I wrote here, if Harris wins, it will embolden these uh, brown shirts, if you can Google brown shirts, that as much as they are frightened about the orange man bad, it's the other way around. The like when you embolden cowardice behavior, yeah, 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 yeah. Like sometimes your sheriffs can be corrupt. Like, if you watch, I watched what's the movie with Carol O'Connor, the guy who played Archie Bunker, Carol O'Connor, and Sidney Poitier, and a couple of other people were in it. Crap. In the Heat of the Night. And that sheriff was a good sheriff. But then I watched Walking Tall, when Buford Justice gets, that sheriff was bought off by the criminals in the county. See, so it can go either way. But it is free, and you want to hope you have good sheriffs. You want to hope that the sheriff of Mashed Potatoes is a good sheriff, and he's not the sheriff of Nottingham, like in Robin Hood, if you will. So yeah, yeah, But here in Kanakistan, we have the feds. Like in town here, we have federal police. There is no local constabulary. Like, they don't give me a badge, and when I've got a gun, because I'm the one who was elected sheriff to watch over the garbage can, make sure that the bears don't get in your garbage. We don't have that. We have feds here, and they are beholden to the federal system. They are beholden to Ottawa. So when the dictation or whatever comes down, the rules. No, we do not have it. No, the OPP, the QPP, but there again, provincial. But when I think back of the QPP, they can be a little crooked as well, right? And the OPP, but there again, we're federal. They're limited in their jurisdiction. Yes, they have the OPP, and they will do the policing, but you still have the Fed. You still had RCMP in Quebec, albeit very little. Like in British Columbia, the only forces we have aside from the feds, we have the Vancouver Police Department, we have the Victoria Police Department. Like even I think Nelson has its own, like the little town of Nelson. I don't even. Does Kelowna have a police? You see, like some places do and some places don't, depending on the money. And it all comes down to money. Like Surrey, supposedly a jurisdiction in lower British Columbia, where they have Vancouver and Burnaby and all that shit. I know I'm on the West Coast, so you East Coasters probably don't know, but Surrey tried to make its own police force. It's a very large jurisdiction, and they wanted their own police force. And then there was a lot of pissing and moaning. And but we have feds here that are beholden to the federal law, and that's it. They're feds. Like your Federal Bureau of they're feds. So the Fed will be in Wyoming, like the FBI will be in Wyoming, or and you're like, well, what? We've got our own police force. We have our own constabulary or whatever. It's really weird. By design, yeah, probably. But yeah, your sheriffs have a lot of power, and you wrote that into your paperwork, which is a good idea, I think. Yeah, yeah, that's a lot. you know. But your county sheriff, who is an elected official, I believe you elect your sheriffs, have a lot of power because your states were all independent. If I can remember my John Wayne movies, when Texas was one of the last states to be brought in along with Alaska and everything. I think Alaska was like around the World War II. It wasn't even part of the union. I could be wrong. Please correct me. But like was I watching Big Jake, and John Wayne says, well, you want Texas to become part of the Republic, don't you? They don't want to, or I don't know, or was it McClintock? I don't even remember. Lawrence, you'll know that if you're here. Lawrence McClintock, you'll know that. When they said, yeah, you want to be part of the Republic. If we don't do something and show them that we're mature enough, we'll always be a territory, the 50s. So they were independent all the way up to there. Yeah, that was probably because of Russia, and then Japan or North Korea. I don't know. It's always stuff we don't know about. We're sold on a bullshit line. Like, yeah, it's so we can all be together, so we can have pineapple in Virginia or whatever. It's really not about that, So we keep those Ruskies from crossing the Bering Strait. We gotta have Alaska. I don't know. I think we sold you guys Alaska for $1.50. I don't know, because wasn't there because Alaska's basically Canada. Yeah, they were territories. Yeah, territories. Totally different system up here. Yeah, John Wayne. He says, yeah, if we don't, prove to Washington that we're any worthy. I'm quoting fucking a movie, of course, so don't even put any stock in me. He says, we'll be a territory run by appointees. So they wanted to be part of the game, right? I don't know. I love John Wayne movies. I find them amusing. McClintock was one of my favorite comedic John Wayne movies. Rio Lobo, all those type movies. I love them, What else? Reading things about the dollar collapse again. I was reading up on the BRICS here, a BRICS thing, and reading up on how much it is part of the how much it's going to shake up the system. And I you know what, they're I think this is it's going to be like rollerball, the old one. We're going to have districts that take care of things. We'll have this district will be do this, like what they say, Texas is the this part is the energy part. They handle the food, they handle this, they handle that. And I think they're going to carve up the world like that. I don't know how they're going to do it, but that's the way I see it, And I always wonder about the BRICS because it's BRICK. Why didn't they call it Cribs? Is that too much like the Crips? And they said, well, they'll get confused and they'll think we're a gang, so I don't know. It's just one of those stupid things that I saw. I do notice that there's a lot of pimping about the immigration invasion down in there was an article I read talking about that they're going to use it for the voting and on November 5th, and I was like, well, yeah, okay. I don't think it's for that. I think it's for other things, but why? Yeah, it is. Hey, Retro, man, one thing to say, Retro, I was looking at some of your shit. You're drawing with two hands. You are a talented man. Don't stop what you're doing. Man, that was impressive. You're talented. That's all I can say. But yeah, the BRICS, but it's 30% of the world's GDP. And I think it could be a thorn in the side, but I think everything, you know, like the empire is strong, you know. It's going to take a lot of rebel forces, you know, a lot of Luke Skywalkers. Yeah. No, you earned it, man. I love your AI stuff. Oh, and speaking of AI, I'll get off the bricks because it's boring anyway. Um, somebody sent me a link. I don't know who it was. Or it's some kind of steampunkish AI rendered Jetsons type AI, and you know, Star Wars and Fifth Element. And I was like, my eyes went like boing. Like what was some commenter said? I can watch Jane Jetson walk around the apartment like that for days. I don't know if it was one of you guys or whatever. I was like, wow. The CGI now for like, if you guys were like, look, I remember when I was younger and they first came out with Japanese uh, manga, like adult manga comics, and I was like, whoa, that's virtual. Like when Heavy Metal magazine came out and the artistry and everything was like, whoa. I'm looking at it now and I'm like, whoa, like wow, like that is, I'm impressed. Wow. So, you know, yeah. Okay. Anyway, I just had to mention that because the AI is like over the top right now with it's anyway. At least now the one thing I love about AI now, when I see somebody on television, that's why I like looking all ratty and everything, because this isn't AI. There's no way you'd make something this ugly, you know. AI is perfect unless you write it in that it's not perfect, but it's perfect, you know. It's perfect. That's all I can say. The women are perfect. The men are perfect. You know, so it's interesting. You know, the symmetry is all there. It's really quite impressive. So, you know, but yeah, I see the Amaro again. Yeah, the Amaro. Let's see what happens. Yeah. Oh, here is something that was reported. I have not vetted it yet, but I can tell you this will stir up the pot with the sandbox. And I talk about the Slavic sandbox. Is there was a report today that now I don't know if these guys are over there doing things for the empire for money or as part of the government. Like, you know, like allegedly, we do not have anybody fighting over in the Slavic sandbox officially. Now, unofficially, I don't know, but we all know that mercenary has been around since the dawn of time, and there's a report today that allegedly, supposedly, hypothetically, whateverly, that some Canadians, some special forces Canadian types, some special forces American types, blah 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 blah, have lost their lives over in the sandbox. Now, if it's unofficial and they are actually wearing the nomenclature and everything of the crown, then something will come of it. It'll get out in the public. If they're just guys over there doing it for money, then it won't matter. But if it becomes something like, oh, gee, we had another helicopter went down with more guys killed in a training exercise, it's going to start because just like in keeping with this thing, if these guys have mamas, which they probably do, and girlfriends, which they probably do, and or sisters, which they probably do, and or brothers, which they probably do, something will come of it. Yeah, the new Terminators with bad breath and everything. Yeah, that won't surprise me. I don't know what the first rollout would be. You know, the first ones are easy to spot. They had rubber skin. You know, like the first, I guess, puppets. Would you be what have you? But now you like even puppeteering. When you look at how it's morphed into what it's become today, you know, if you were even to watch a dragon festival across the pond, and you're like, wow, that almost looks real. You know, yeah. And like I said, I've been in the military, man. What you see is not what we have. Like if you see this, you know, then we're 30 years behind. Yeah. Yeah. Every once in a while you hear the story, oh, a helicopter went down, or you know, or a training exercise, or like if I hear anything of our special elite forces, because I knew some, I've been retired for a while. So the last time I talked to one, he was retired and he's out of the loop himself, but he might still be in the loop. But if I hear of anything that like go like a training exercise that went awry and there's some numbers that were lost, I will know immediately that we've got people over across the pond in the sandbox that are losing their lives for the empire, if you want to call it, or that. And then that'll be proof for me. That's all I need. Just like when you hear about, oh shit, we just lost a whole SEAL team, you know, a helicopter went down, or like, you know, with the remember the Osama bin Laden story, and then all of a sudden that whole team just died. Am I wrong on that? Am I wrong on that? I don't think so. It just seems to be the case. So see, and those stories will be buried, you know, and most of the alternative media, unless it's good for the Benjamins, they're not going to bring. They're going to go with, like, you know, which the alternative media, what I call the controlled opposition, you know, that have, you know, that the ones that garner all of the, you know, and I don't want to rail on anybody because, you know, I could be wrong in pulling out a name because they could be true, but most, in my opinion, most of the alternative media are, most, not all, but most are just, it's all about the Benjamins and the Bordens. It's all about making the money. You know, we'll talk about this because this will garner, you know, especially if it's something in the mainstream media that they can oppose and they can get all of their fan base on board. You know, that's why I've cut them all off, you know, because they don't say anything more than what I'm saying, and I ain't begging money, and I ain't ever gonna beg money. And you know, it's another one, buy my book, send me more money on Patreon, and you know, yeah, yeah, e-beggars are everywhere, and I'm done with the e-beggars, you know, because look, like, how much money do you need? I don't know. And realistically, this flathering on, being a blatherskite, or you know, what's another good word for it? Another word for blatherskite, you know, blabbermouth or whatever. You're gonna pay me for that? Okay, but it doesn't warrant it. If I dig a fucking hole for you and I put your fence up, okay. But me flathering on with my opinion, and then, you know, get your hackles up so that, you know, you're just all twisted in your gut. No, man, no. So I can rally the troops, call to arms, you know, and get people back and forth on each other. I don't want to, you know, like, you know, like we used to hear, you know, oh, and then I got his horde of followers come over and troll my channel. Oh, yeah, yeah, and that's the thing too. It's just another, yeah. We used to. I remember when the YouTubes came out, and like I started doing videos in 2010. I think is the first video I did way back when I lived in Victoria. You know, and I started just spouting shit, alien, and I didn't know, you know, and now I'm trying to just, you know, talk, do an informal chat like Rogan did with you, which was, in my opinion, an informal chat. You know, hey, you know, I don't expect us to teabag each other. I just want us to say, hey, you know, did you see this? Did you see that? Oh, let me go look at that. Wow, Retro draws some really cool stuff. Oh, wow. Thanks, Lawrence, for the flute. Blah, blah, blah. Hey, Alan, I hope you're doing well on your hikes. Here's me and my beach walk in Ecuador. Hopefully that happens again this year. Sunset. I don't know, but I'm not going to ask for fucking money. You got to earn your money, in my opinion. That's my heart of hearts. Like, that's what my daddy taught me. You don't get something for nothing. That's all I was taught, So, for me to flather on and I charged, like, what does Hillary Clinton charge for a speaking fee? Oh, Mrs. is home. It's almost an hour. She went to the gym. She's feeling better. She can go to the gym. I hope it went well for her. But yeah, Clinton, $200,000 for a speaking engagement? Are you serious? No, man. Invent something. The 0 Point Energy engine, you do that and we'll talk. Then you get some Benjamins or Bordens. But other than that, you get nothing. You get nothing. If you solve a problem, yeah, okay. Hey, look, guys, I solved the problem over here. This is how you do it. Self-help or whatever. This is how you change your brakes. This is how you do this. And you have like a fix-it channel or something. Yeah, okay. But anybody else just... No, that's crazy. E-beggars are replaced. It's true. It's true. They got the fancy studio. I hope you like my studio. I unplugged the thing so it wasn't flashing, driving you crazy, Archie. I can do that for you, But yeah, e-beggars are everywhere, and there's no reason, like, it became, and it's just another thing, right? The advertisers figured something out. How can we get money for nothing? How can I sell my, and now it's unbelievable. And you know what I noticed too about the advertisers? This is how insidious they are, how disgusting, vulgar, that they will, like, even obscure, like, not my channel because it's just so shadow banned, but they'll put ads on channels that they don't like, that are hugely long, that I have to sit through. And I just reload it, and usually it just skips finally, and then it goes straight to the video. But they still get their money, even for the shit that they don't like. They are incorrigible. Just for the Benjamins, eh? Advertising, it's unbelievable. Yeah. Anyway, e-beggars abound. Yeah. Lots going on. Next week will be the day. So remember, the 5th of November. Yeah. Yeah, whether it be sell yourself, like, you do something, you write something, you dig a hole, you invent the new bicycle wheel. Way to go. But you're doing something. I do not deserve one red penny. Oh, yeah, I can't wait till next week. I'm going to look more. I have to vet the story about the Canadians, whether they were in the sandbox. There's some other things too. The immigration angle. The Mumbai attacks are screaming in my head. Terry Gar, rest in peace. You were a wonderful actress. You gave me much entertainment. I love you. And that clip for, it's just one of those things. Just one of those things. I absolutely love it when she says that to Roy in the, what things, that was just great. But rest in peace. You're not suffering from your MS anymore. So rest in peace. So, and with that, I'll sign out. It's been an hour. Mrs. is home from her gym, and she looks like she's all happy. There's her hand. I'm glad. So, okay. I monetize. Retro, your thing too, that earns money. Drawing something, writing something. Yes, of course. That can garner money. This, talking doesn't garner money unless we literally solve a problem and we figure something out. Oh, wow. If you put a battery backwards together and then you shove it up your ass, you get free energy. Okay. Okay, then yeah, I should get money for that. Unfortunately, that won't work, you know. So that's about it. So no, thanks for coming out, guys. I appreciate it. I'm glad you and I'm glad we were able to interact. And that's what I love doing. I love being able to read. If there's any more people, I'd have to slow it down. I'm glad you guys were here. At least we can talk back and forth. But yeah, I believe that yeah, you should monetize retro because your artistry and if all your AI stuff that you work on and you put time into it, that is something that garners money. That would somebody should pay for. Like if you make a movie, a 15-minute short that's completely AI and acted and everything, and it's your own creation, then yeah, of course you are absolutely justified in getting money. You know, if it's as crazy looking as the Jetsons, woohoo! Thumbs up. Diver's okay. Anyway, peace to you and yours. See you on the flip side next Tuesday, election day, or next Wednesday will be the day after the day after. So that'd be really interesting. Okay, so I hope it's a quiet week. I hope nothing crazy goes on because you know all the paranoid they're talking about. Oh, so let's just hope it's nice and quiet and not crazy. Okay, nothing bad happens. We don't want to see anything bad happen. Okay, peace to you and yours, and we'll see you on the flip side next week. Peace, love, and grooviness.